Hey, what's up, family? How y'all doing?
Welcome,
I'm with my
welcome.
man Ola.
What's good, Iz?
What's up, baby? I'm your boy Iz. Listen, man, we appreciate all the support and love. And as my man always says,
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this. Please, this is for y'all. We appreciate y'all. Let's get it started.
and listen, I just something I'm gonna throw out there, right? Is this, man? We were talking before, but I think it'll be a great opportunity. Those that are watching and you think you would like to be on the podcast, man, you know what? I really feel like I got something to share with these brothers because I love the topics and I want to be a part of it. Man, comment, man.
Yeah,
I promise you, man. Yeah, give us a shout out, man. Hey, listen, we're with it. We'll bring anybody on this, man. We're trying to support. We're trying to help. If you got businesses that need to be supported,
Absolutely.
tell them to reach out to us. Send a comment. Let me call them. Listen, man, we're here to support the family, y'all.
Let's get it started.
Let's get it started, baby. So listen, today we're going to talk about, man, topic right here. I sent my man Ola. It was a video, and it was talking about men who express themselves, right? You know, there was always this thing at one time that talked about where, you know, men can't express themselves. And it's always been like that, especially we're not able to, right? Because it can be looked at in different facets, different forms, right? So I sent it to him because I was very intrigued because the brother was talking about, you know, they were talking about men being in their feelings and being sensitive. And he was like, well, I'm an intellectual, you know, emotional expresser, basically, right? And he was like, look, I'm able to express myself maturely, correctly. And if women are not used to experiencing men like that, they will look at it as men being sensitive or in their feelings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I thought about it. I remember the times when I didn't express myself. Then I thought about the times I did express myself, sometimes not, you know, correctly because I'm never used to it.
Yeah.
What'd you take on that video, man?
I love the video. I think it was great. It really delved deep into our society and how we actually address people's feelings, people's thoughts, and how we express ourselves. And I think it's a great point that you made about, you know, is it too sensitive if a man is actually expressive? And what popped into my head as you were saying that is it really just depends on the situation for the most part.
Okay.
Also, something in me thought, man, this feels like a catch-22 because if you do, you know, you could be, and as he said in the video, you could be criticized for, you know, expressing something that really should have just kept to your damn self. And at the same time, if you keep quiet, it's like, well, why aren't you talking? Why aren't you expressing? Why aren't you showing anything? And it really, you know, piqued my interest on something else that, you know, we were talking about earlier about self-preservation. And how a lot of the time the people that we deal with, the people that we interact with, are really only there for self-interest. It's almost, I don't know if it's instinctual or if it's societal, but a lot of times instead of actually, you know, putting yourself in someone else's shoes and be like, okay, what is this person going through? Male or woman, male or female, right? What are they going through? Let me hear them out and see what the topic is, what the issue is, and see if we can just address it. Instead, we have pressures on our back that are saying, well, if it's a woman expressing this to me, all right, let's hear it out. Let's be patient. Don't say anything. You know, kind of, you know, calmly address it. If it's a male,
go ahead.
Like, come on, man. Like, why are you expressing
this? That's my point, ladies. I definitely want y'all comments. I want y'all to share a story. You know, with experience that if you felt like a man was too emotional, because then we can be able to come back and share those thoughts because we only going based on what we think, right? And as a man. And through conversations with women that we've talked to, right? So women, share your thoughts, please, man. Fellas, share your thoughts too as well. Let's get a little bit input and get involved with us, all right?
And I wanted to add a little bit more before you continue. Even with men, though, we do check ourselves, you know, as far as how we communicate with women. Like, I'll give you an example. When I'm talking with, you know, some of the homies, right, and they give me an example of, you know, what they're going through with their lady and expressing like, oh, man, she didn't do this, she didn't do that. And I had to check them and be like, yo, like, you got to cut that out. Like, that's not going to get you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know if that's a good thing or if that's just a thing to get you over the river. You know
so I'm going to give you a scenario, man. Let me give you a scenario. I got a story for y'all, man. Check this out, man. I remember when I was in my little situation, man, you know, I was in my situation for a while, and I had this young lady I was involved with, right? And she was like, I was never the type of brother who would ever, you know me, bro. I don't really express too many like emotions to women. I don't really share too much things. It's like, you know, you tell me you love me, I'm like, all right, you know, I care about you. That's how it was as a young man, right? As you get older, you start seeing things a little differently.
Yeah.
And you don't see it differently. You just realize why you say the things
True.
you say. It's very imperative in understanding why you say things, right?
Right.
And so I remember she was like, look, I really want you to share your emotions and feeling me. I know you've been through a lot. I really want to get to know the deeper you. I was like, damn, she sold me. I was like, the deeper me? Shit, okay. I was like, she sounded so eloquent, dog. I'm like, bro, she could have sold me anything that day.
You was like, all right,
bro,
good.
she could have sold me anything that day. I was locked in. When she said well, I was like, what? The better for you? All right, cool. So then, all right, here we go.
You fell for it?
Fell for it. Fell for it. Listen, sometimes, I'm glad you like that. Sometimes you got to learn from mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go through something you've never been through.
True.
Sometimes you have to. Not all the time. To be able to bump your head and realize, you know what? You were safer over here like that, right? And so I did, bro. I was sharing all my feelings. I was like, oh my God, it feels so great to express these thoughts. Bro, I was like, what? Y'all forgive me. It was like a floodgate of these emotions I never knew existed.
So what was her reaction?
Man, all right, so her reaction was kind of cold. I'm not going to take what she said. But it made me feel some type of way. I said, she was like, bro, I ain't gonna, you know what? She was like, yo, it's just.
Without getting into was she receptive to it?
Hell no. She said it makes me feel more like, since I'm listening to you more and you're expressing yourself more, like I'm the man, you're the woman. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what?
That's cold.
I was like, what? I was like, yo, I thought you felt connected to me on that level where it was like I had the opportunity to finally be able to not hold on to these things that I had been holding on for years.
Yeah.
And when I shared them, it was just me. You know what it was, bro? It was me talking a lot. Talking a lot.
Okay.
And a lot of women are not used to men
listening,
talking. They're not used to listen. Yeah, listening.
True.
So they're not used to men talking that much about their experiences in life and this. And as I dawned on it, it made me think. I said, look, this is a woman that for whatever reason, she just wanted to see if she could make me feel vulnerable, right? You know what I'm saying? Whatever reason somebody made her feel vulnerable, whatever it was. But what she did, let me share this and I'm going to let you, whatever you guys say, this is what she did for me though. When I did that, and after me and her parted ways and stuff like that, because when I started realizing she didn't have my best interest, I was like, nah, she's good. Because a real woman who honestly wants a man to grow and not be that chaotic version of himself is going to want you to evolve, you know what I'm saying? And one thing that I learned is, you know what I'm saying, look, you don't have, like, all right, there's a balance, right? You don't need to express everything.
True.
Right? And in that moment, it wasn't like I was expressing every sad moments or happy moments. It wasn't more of an expression. It was just more of a long, drawn-out story of my life.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And this and that. And it was like, I looked back and I was like, it freed me. I realized the reason why most men die before women is because they stress, they embody that stress level, they take it in, they can't release it. But I find that when you as a man, or any person in general, are very comfortable with themselves, and you realize, you know what, it doesn't matter what you think or how you perceive me. Yo, this is who I am. And I found, man, now that I don't hold those things in, it just feels a lot more peaceful. Even when I go through them journeys, man. You know?
There are a couple parts that, you know, kind of, you know, made me think back. The last part about, you know, the stuff that men bottle in, that's huge. It hit home because I know, you know, with men, our stress is just different. You know, like we take on a lot. And of course, there's, you know, I don't always like caveats. I'm like, you know, well, you know, men take on this, so women. But with this, I will say, I know that women do take on a lot.
Absolutely.
You know, they do take on a lot.
We all carry our own weight.
We do.
We carry our own weight differently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But as men, the weight that we carry and the ability to release that is far different, I believe. You know, like with the women, they can cry on the man's shoulder with their pains, even if he's not listening. He's just like, I'm just hitting you out. I might want to hit the cheeks later or something like that. She can also cry to her girls. You know what I'm saying? Her girls are listening. They'll back
but that's why. But that's how she was created.
That's what
That's why it's
created,
cool.
right.
But let's go back to the question though, right? Let's not lose sight. I'm not saying you are, but let's go back. Just why you're saying what you're saying is right. Why is it that when a man does share those things, regardless if they're him just, and it ain't even about crying, because it's not, I find that even when men have a thought.
On the show?
Nah, hell no. It wasn't even that serious. I've been honest with you what she said. I didn't want to tell y'all. I was like, shit, but if I cried, I cried. So, but I will say this to you. It's funny because my oldest daughter, my oldest daughter's 23, right?
Okay.
All right. She says I'm always in my feelings because I express thoughts to her. When I share concern with her, when I want to talk to her about things, when I want to explain things to her about why I look at things and why I do things and she doesn't always agree, she gets irritated and frustrated. But like, oh, you just in your feelings about it. But why am I in my feelings when I'm just telling you what I'm supposed to just sit here and be like, when she say, Dad, Chase, Ola is, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, like, bro, blah, 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 that's what I want, blah, 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 right? No, what I'm supposed to just say yes? No, what you're supposed to do is explain to your child, you know what I'm saying, why you do and don't do things.
Right.
But I'm in my feelings because she doesn't, because I'm not thinking the way she thinks at 23. When I'm 43 and I'm seeing 20 years of experiences in life,
absolutely.
what I've learned the hard and the easy way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember back in high school, there's multiple girls were always telling me, I never see you get upset. Like, I've never seen you mad. Like, in my head, I didn't, as a teenager, I didn't really understand what that meant. It was almost like, I don't know if that's like credit or if that's like a slight. Or it feels like they're kind of like egging me to kind of like react. But to me, that kind of speaks to how we deal in society now. Just the same thing with you. Like, she's like, I want you to open up, yada, yada. But in reality, it's like, no, motherfucker, I don't want you to really open up.
Nah, I don't.
And so it was the same thing. Like, they never saw me get upset, but they didn't really want to in a genuine manner. It wasn't like I want to really see him express. It was kind of like I want to see him lose himself.
No, but check this out. Maybe hit this, right? I don't even think it's lose yourself. They want to see if they can feel like they're the one who got you, like that made you kind of like, okay, if they got you to open up, they can say I'm the only one he opened up to. And I think with her, that was the thing, because she knew me for years before that. Yeah. So we had met up years later, and she already knew I was not the one. I didn't say I love you. I was never an emotional guy. I never expressed. I would tell I love you, I care about you, whatever, but never go deep, right?
Yeah.
And I think her challenge was to feel, because she felt like she needed to feel that way. And then when she got it, it was like an accomplishment for her.
Right.
And then that's when she tried to come at it differently. And so I realized, but this is what I thought about: was she victorious or was I? See, the word, what I've learned is this, and I've learned this, bro, is, and I'm learning this, still learning this, is, you can, listen, don't matter if you feel like you need to express things, like, man, it's not always got to be, barbaric, hear me roar and all that way. Like, if you connect with a woman you want to spend a life journey with, right, or women you want to journey with your man, you got to understand that you got to always compare, you always got to look at the strengths that he adds. So if he is expressing himself, why is he like that? If he does this, he holds it down, I feel safe with him, my kids don't have to ever worry, and he's an expressive person, and it gets on your nerves, like, bro, but go back to what he's really bringing. So why is he doing this?
Yeah.
And that's what I shared with somebody. I was like, think about it. You know all of this about me, right? So if I'm doing this, it has to be a reason that has to be beneficial, right? I'm not just doing it to be expressive. And it was like, you know what, Chase? That made a lot of sense. They start thinking about it. I said, I've learned so much information and experiences and viewpoints.
True.
That when I share it, that's what it really is. It's not even me being in my feelings. It's me sharing you how I feel because I care about you that much.
Let me ask you this, right? So I guess the big question is, as men, do we need to be emotionally expressive to women in order to maintain or gain a relationship? Is it even needed at all? Because you asked a question in the beginning about whether or not it makes a man sensitive, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, so what is the end goal? Because as men, we're looking at goal, right? It's like, if we do something, there has to be an end goal. If we take an action, it's to solve said problem, right?
Yeah.
If we actually express something, it's to be heard and to be able to communicate with said person, right? So in the event where you're expressive to a woman, right, is there a benefit to that?
Yeah, I think so. I think, as you were saying, I actually was diving in a couple thoughts. Right, we're not in prehistoric times where cavemen hit women, bam, right? Bring your ass home, girl. Like, you meet moms, right? Like at the end of the day, and then you spend years, think about it. Ancestors, great grandfathers, it was abusive men. Like my uncles, and they was all like, their way of making you understand was beating the shit out of you, right? Like really tearing you up.
Yeah.
And they didn't understand it because that's what they learned, and they didn't know no better, right?
Okay.
And I think what happens now is men are tired of being boxed in as though they have to be quiet about everything they go through. So I think if a man does express himself to a woman, regardless if you think it's too sensitive or not, man, I think the key thing is, why is he doing it? If you can really step back and say, damn, does he do this to everybody, or does he doing it to me because we have that vibe, right? And I think if a man really does that to share to a woman, it's because he really wants her to understand, I really want to embark that next level with you, so I want to be plain with you. I want to be expressive. I want to be open to you. Now, does that mean we got to do it every time, every month, and every week, and every 6 years? No. But I think if a man does put himself in a place like that, he is in a place in his life where, listen, it's either if he does it, and if he, or he doesn't, what's the result of if he doesn't?
So here's my thing, right? One, from what you're saying, you would have to have someone that's on the receiving end that is, one, mature enough to understand that this man is being expressive and you're not going to use this information against him.
Nah, I think, honestly.
Now, hear me out, right?
Go
Because in my experience, right, when I have been expressive, it's almost always used back. You know, like even if you overreact, right? Or if you, yell or whatever the case, they'll always have that mark and be like, look, you lost yourself. You were emotional, right?
Yeah.
And my thing is like, okay, so how do you know that the person that you're communicating with is going to be receptive to you expressing any type of emotion? Like, what is the telltale sign?
Oh yeah, man. I think so. For me, it's energy.
Okay.
So when I say that, is this: you have certain energy connections with people where when you're in a room with them, you're just there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe some people have never felt it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you just go from relationship, you don't take the time to, and you know what I'm saying, or vice versa, it just doesn't work out, you'll never feel it. But those who have felt that energy with somebody, where it's like, yo, you never had to yell.
Right.
You know, if I said something, okay, you tripped. You be like, or let's say your lady made a mistake or whatever. She's like, baby, I'm so sorry, this and that. All right, just don't let it happen again. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't even buy into it. You don't have to do too much. Yeah. And if you express it, it's not like you're expressing yourself because you're trying to do whatever. It's just the level. It's a different level of expression.
No,
I think if you talk about the aspect of saying this, you express yourself so much that it's like, oh, I love you. And I've been in places that I've said more than I probably should have. And, and then I think back, I thought about where I was at really in that place, and that's why I was overly expressive. Because you know why this happened, is because I was going through so much over here. I needed to express it to somebody, even if that person received it or not. So I think if you're going to do that, it doesn't matter if that person uses it against you. It don't matter if they like it. It don't matter if they gossip about you. It don't matter if they say, hey, Ola, hey, y'all, hey, the girls over here gossiping. Ola was over here telling me how he felt. So what? She just put you on a higher level. You know why? Because she made her girls. Now the one who was like, oh, he expressed himself? Bro, but
we don't live in those times.
Man, we live in all those times, baby.
I would say if a girl is going to go to the girls, right? Yes, she might do it, verbally, but it's going on social media. You know how many times I've seen women out a guy like, this nigga, he said this, and it's on social media, and like I'm like friends with a friend, and I'm like, yo, like how you just gonna out this man?
But my thing is, but if he don't care. It don't even matter.
True.
The viewers watching are like, you know what I'm saying? Like when we did that Kiki joint, right? You know, even though Buddy was tripping, he probably was like, at the end of the day, it was like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter. So I'm just saying, like, when you do certain things, I feel like no matter if it's right or wrong, you should be confident or comfortable saying, you know what, I'm gonna take responsibility, or I'm gonna accept what people say or don't say, and then keep moving on. Because I think really, as a man, think about it, bro. Think about it as a man. How can you honestly hurt a man's character if he takes care of his family, he provides for his family, it don't matter how much money or income he brings, right? He takes care of his children, he takes care of his woman or not, if she's with her or not, right? You know what I mean? He doesn't have to beg or plead ask for anybody for anything. He moves around, he stays in shape, he does what he says, but he shares a thought, right? You think he really cares? Maybe. But should he? No.
That's true.
Because he's the example of a man, right? You know what I'm saying? Like if you look, the Tate brothers, right? You ever watch them?
Yeah. A couple times.
All right, so they share thoughts all the time.
Yeah.
They share all kinds of thoughts. I mean, I think I love them two brothers. I think what they do because I love the unity they have for each other. People focus on everything else, but if I had a relationship with a bro like that, bro, with man, you'll be victorious in life, right? But that's a different story. But I'm just saying, like at the end of the day, man, Nah, bro, it's okay. It's okay. I think the problem should be though, for men, and I'm gonna say this to men. I think what happens is if your woman is supporting you, if she's not embracing you, right? If she has anything negative to say about you,
Yeah.
bro, stop pouring your heart out to a woman that don't care. Like that's what we have to accept. I think that's when it's too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think if your goal is to make a woman understand and you want to be free of, holding away, I think it's a beautiful thing, man, because this woman may not get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This woman may.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
So not to segue off, but one of the things that you touched on again, which I think is very important, is men's health, men's mental health. What would you say is probably like a good advice? Like, what is like a key thing? Like, you're in a relationship with, whatever your lady, and you feel like you can't express these things to her, right? And maybe you don't know that it's time to actually bounce, right? But you stay in it, right? Because you talked about men, how we hold things in. So this is the thing on a massive level where a lot of guys do this. What would you say to a guy that they should do or maybe consider in a situation where they feel like they can't express things that they're going
it's
through?
like anything else, move on, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, see, I think what happens is we get short-sighted, right? Because especially social media helps that too, because you see it,
Absolutely.
but you don't see the 10 years of the struggle.
Yep.
So you see it. So I think what people think, they expect to see it now.
Yeah.
Like one day I'm gonna shit on here, y'all. I'm gonna share my testimony with y'all, man. And I really hope it blesses somebody. But I'm gonna just say, I'm learning like everybody else. And one thing that I've learned is, no matter what I've gone through in life, is there's no limitation for you. Like nothing, like you can literally overcome anything that's in your face. It just, see, what I think what happens is we only can see so far, so we think the end result is here. When the end result is over there, right? It doesn't matter if you're 40, 50, 60, 80 years old.
Yeah.
It don't matter your age. It's when you just look at it. So I think what happens is when you realize how valuable you are, and how important you are to this world we live in, I think that's when you move. Because other than that,
It's self-love.
It's self-love. Because
Yeah.
think about it, bro. Why do you stay in a miserable relationship? Why?
Yeah.
You know why? It's because you feel that's a form of love to you.
Mm-hmm.
When it's not.
Yeah.
It's a form of defeat.
It's like a false sense of hope, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like you're there thinking that, something's going to turn into something better, and you actually see the writing on the wall is that it's not.
It's
and
not.
so, yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then, right? So
Yeah.
check this out. Let me ask you a question, bro.
Sure.
Man, what you feel like one things that you learned the most of, as you shared, like there was time people didn't consider you to be expressive, and then you were, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel do you feel the times that you express yourself at a younger age, right?
Yeah.
Versus now, do you feel like it helped you, benefited you? Was it did you learn something from it, or do you feel like you're looking back, you're like, it was all a waste of time?
That's a great question. I believe, I know that my younger me had much more reserve and self-preservation of self than now.
Okay.
I feel like I bit the bullet on certain occasions that I just shouldn't have. I know a couple relationships where kind of that whole "I never seen you mad" thing kind of.
They should have seen you mad. They should have seen.
Right, and I'm just like, I think over time, like you get into toxic situations and you stay in those toxic situations, and it beats you down. It changes you.
I agree.
Because I know, like the older me just wouldn't have put up with a lot of garbage that I put up with today. And looking back, I would say that the relationships that I've been in have allowed me to learn a lot, but at the same time, it kind of torn away the hard edge part that I wish. Like I kind of look back, like I thought about it. It's funny when you ask that. I think about it, I'm like, man, I wish I had that tolerance before. Where somebody could just say something, and just be like,
whatever. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you though, and I'm gonna tell you something. I've had that same conversation. Cut you off. You ever heard of Jordan Peele?
Yeah.
Man, I love listening to Joy Peele. Regardless if people agree or disagree, it doesn't matter to me. I love the insightfulness, right? And one thing he says that a man, in a sense, a man must always be prepared for war. Like, you know, it's I get what you're saying, right? I wish I had that. I don't care. I'm cool.
Yeah.
But see, that's a curse. It's not a blessing. Because think about it. If something was to go wrong or certain things happen, your attack mode or your willingness to protect isn't as keen as it would be now.
Okay.
Now it's like my tolerance is here.
Yeah.
It's like here. I got zero tolerance for the.
But I'm a lot more reactive than I was back in the day.
But that's what I'm saying. So so even though, you know what's funny, I'll leave this and we about to close out soon, right?
Yeah.
It's because, you know what I mean? Because I say, but it's this. Think about it, right? Hindsight is 20/20.
Sure.
So a lot of things that we see, you know, you think back and it's like, you know, like you think back, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. You've been through hell and high water. Hell and high water. The worst year of your life.
Yeah.
2 years past, you're like, wasn't really that bad.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And then your
yeah.
relationship wasn't that bad. You meet up with him, like, oh,
Yeah.
then you remember.
Yeah.
It's like that sometimes. What we have to do is stop thinking that what it was before was better because I've done that.
Yeah.
And then I realized, bro, if you were still that age, you're not the man
That's
you
a
should
good
be.
point. That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've not elevated, brother.
Yeah.
You're still in high school.
Right.
Nah, brother, it's all
Yeah.
about elevation. And you should, and even with expression, I feel is important. It's a form of elevation. Because it's like anything you do. If you're playing football and you throw the ball one time, right, you'll get better as you keep growing in it, right?
Sure.
It's the same thing with expression. Man, a lot of women don't want to hear those things. A lot of women don't want to hear them, right?
Yeah.
But that's okay. If you're tired of not sharing yourself and you feel like you're tired of carrying all that weight in, it doesn't matter if this is the woman you see your life with the rest of your life.
True.
Do it because this is about you and you just need a sounding board. Because check this out, I'll give you this little jewel real quick, man. It's this. If she doesn't respond the way you think she should or how you would hope she would, rewind yourself or even record it and rewind yourself and say, what did I say that was not appropriate or not correct?
Right.
And then go back and learn to perfect it so you maturely know how to express yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. It's like everything else, perfecting yourself is like riding a bike. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
So it's like anything else, man. Don't beat yourself up, women. Don't let that man become who he's supposed to be and you missed out on when he was expressing himself now. Because really what God is doing is molding that man.
Yeah.
And I'll leave you something real quick. It said, when I did as a child, I acted, when I was a child, I did as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things, right? I think that's the way it goes.
Okay.
And I always think about something like that is this. Man, to get where you have to go.
Preacher is up in this.
Nah. Oakland Raiders, baby. You know, I think the key thing is to get to where you're going is you have to get uncomfortable with yourself as a man. Because, bro, we as fathers are not how our fathers were 100 years ago.
Yeah.
They weren't even able to be there really for the kids. The mom had to take care of it.
That's
Now,
good.
fathers, we able to be fathers to our kids.
Yeah.
Very proactive, baby.
Yeah.
Man, close us out, baby.
Yeah,
This is
so
our-
I mean, last thoughts on it. I think it's a great topic. You know, men's health, men's emotional capacity and ability to express yourself. Do it with maturity. Do it with sincerity. And as my man is said, when it comes to expressing that, know that the person that you're relaying this information to is receptive to it. And don't be afraid to walk away if that person is not, because this is you. This is you're you until the day that you die.
And man, so what? You know what? If they not receptive, man, so what? Do it anyways, and then say thank you. Thank you for letting me express myself.
Absolutely.
Because it took you to bring this out of me.
For sure.
That's okay, man. It's okay. The world's judging you, but you ain't, man, judge yourself how you want. Now check this out, ladies. We really want a female, co-star with somebody, a female that can, we want to hold, we want a guest. We want a female guest, someone that can interact with us, but we want female thoughts, man. And I feel the best person would be somebody that's been, supporting us from the beginning.
Yeah.
So listen, man,
Leave us a
reach out.
comment.
Yeah, leave us a
Reach out.
comment.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen,
We'll
man.
get
We
back
love
to you
y'all.
for sure.